Welcome to our channel where we delve into the darkest corners of reality. Tonight we bring you 3 true unnerving new house horror stories that will send chills down your spine. Make sure to turn off the lights and get comfortable, because these stories are not for the faint of heart. Are you ready to hear about families tormented by unseen forces, eerie occurrences that defy explanation, and the chilling presence of those who linger long after they're gone? Our first story takes us deep into the heart of an idyllic suburban neighborhood, where a family moved into their dream home, unaware of the nightmare that awaited them. They were filled with hope and excitement, ready to start a new chapter in their lives. The house stood proud, a testament to classic architecture with its grand facade and intricate details that spoke of a bygone era. Inside, the sprawling rooms and a sense of history drew the family in, making them feel like they had stepped back in time. Little did they know darkness lingered beneath the surface, hidden in the shadows and corners of their new home. A haunting presence had seeped into the very foundation of their new home, waiting to reveal itself. The first few weeks were bliss. The family enjoyed their new surroundings, unaware of the lurking danger. But as the days turned into weeks, a subtle unease began to creep in. It was as if the house itself was slowly waking up. It started subtly, almost imperceptibly, small things that could easily be dismissed. Footsteps in the dead of night, echoing through the halls, the soft padding of unseen feet on the hardwood floor. A door creaking open as if pushed by an invisible hand. The sound was unmistakable, sending chills down their spines. The parents dismissed it at first, attributing the strange occurrences to the age of the house and their overactive imaginations. They tried to rationalize the unexplainable, but as the incidents grew more frequent and more intense, their skepticism gave way to a growing sense of dread. The house seemed to be alive with malevolent energy. Their once safe haven was becoming a place of fear and uncertainty. One evening, the youngest daughter refused to eat, her eyes wide with terror, fixated on a shadowy figure lurking in the corner of the room. She could see what the others could not. Her fear was palpable, and it spread to the rest of the family. As the haunting escalated, the family's once peaceful home transformed into a prison of fear. The walls seemed to close in on them. Objects moved on their own, lights flickered erratically, and disembodied whispers seemed to emanate from the walls themselves. The house was no longer a home, but a place of torment. The flickering lights cast eerie shadows, making the house feel even more sinister. Desperate for answers, the family sought help from paranormal investigators. They needed to understand what was happening to them. The investigators' findings sent chills down everyone's spines. They uncovered the dark history of the house. The house was indeed haunted, its history steeped in tragedy and sorrow. The investigators could feel the heavy presence of the past. A family had met a gruesome end within those very walls decades earlier, their lives cut short in a violent and tragic manner, their souls seemingly unable to find peace, trapped within the confines of the house. Despite their efforts to appease the spirits, the haunting continued unabated. The spirits were restless and unyielding. The family tried everything, but nothing could banish the spirits. They were forced to live with the constant fear. To this day, the house stands empty, a chilling reminder of the horrors that unfolded within its walls. No one dares to enter. It remains a ghostly monument to the past, a place where the living and the dead are forever intertwined. Our next story takes us on a journey with a young couple, Emily and Ethan, who were on top of the world. They had just taken a monumental step in their lives, one that many dream of but few achieve. They had just closed on their dream home, a charming Victorian, nestled on a quiet street lined with ancient oak trees. The house stood as a testament to timeless beauty, with its intricate woodwork and grandiose architecture. The house was everything they had ever wanted. Spacious rooms, high ceilings, and a sense of history that made it feel like more than just a house. It was a home. The first few weeks in their new home were pure bliss. They spent their days unpacking, decorating, and dreaming about their future together in this perfect setting. But as the honeymoon phase of homeownership began to fade, a series of unsettling events began to unfold. It started with small things, shadows that seemed to move on their own, and doors that would creak open without a breeze. Emily would wake in the dead of night, feeling as though she was being watched. Then came the whispers, soft, unintelligible murmurs that seemed to emanate from the walls themselves, growing louder each night. These whispers were not just figments of her imagination. They were real, and they were everywhere, filling the house with an eerie presence that was impossible to ignore. Ethan, ever the pragmatist, initially dismissed Emily's concerns. He attributed the noises to the house settling or perhaps the wind. But as the strange occurrences escalated, even Ethan couldn't deny the growing sense of unease. The atmosphere in the house grew heavier, more oppressive. It was as if the very air they breathed was charged with a malevolent energy. One evening, Emily heard Ethan's voice calling her name from upstairs. She assumed he had come home early from work and was eager to greet him. She climbed the stairs, her heart filled with anticipation. But as she reached the top, she was met with an eerie silence. The house was empty. Confused and shaken, Emily tried to rationalize what she had heard. Perhaps it was just her mind playing tricks on her, she thought. But deep down, she knew something was terribly wrong. The house was trying to communicate with them, and its messages were anything but friendly. As the days turned into weeks, the strange occurrences became more frequent and more intense. Lights would flicker and cold spots would appear in the warmest rooms. Objects began to move on their own, as if guided by unseen hands. Chairs would slide across the floor, and pictures would fall from the walls. Desperate for answers, they began researching the history of their home. They scoured old newspapers, talked to neighbors, and even visited the local library. Their investigation led them to a chilling discovery. The house had once been owned by a wealthy recluse who had mysteriously disappeared without a trace. The more they learned, the more they realized that their dream home had a dark past. It was a place where secrets were buried and spirits lingered. Armed with this knowledge, Emily and Ethan began to suspect that the strange occurrences in their home were the work of a restless spirit. A spirit that was not at peace and did not want them there. They packed their belongings and left the house that night, leaving behind their dream home and the nightmare that came with it. They knew they could never return, for the house had made it clear they were not welcome. In the quaint, tree-lined suburbs stood a charming cottage with a haunting secret. The house, with its picturesque appearance, held a story that would soon unravel in the most unexpected ways. It was here that Amelia, a single mother, sought a fresh start for herself and her young son, Ethan. They were eager to leave behind the shadows of their past and embrace a new beginning. The house, with its sunny yellow exterior and inviting white picket fence, seemed like the embodiment of their hopes and dreams. It was a place where they could build new memories and find peace. For a while, life in the cottage was idyllic. The days were filled with laughter and the nights were calm and serene. But as the weeks turned into months, a series of unsettling events began to unfold. The once peaceful home started to reveal its darker side. Amelia would wake in the dead of night, feeling as though she was being watched. Then came the whispers, soft and eerie, that seemed to echo through the walls. Soft, unintelligible murmurs that seemed to emanate from the walls themselves. It was as if the house was trying to communicate with them. Ethan began to exhibit strange behavior. He became more withdrawn and often seemed lost in his own world. He would often talk to himself, engaging in conversations with an invisible playmate. His imaginary friend seemed to be more real than ever. One evening, Ethan turned to Amelia, his big brown eyes wide with a mixture of fear and fascination. He seemed to be on the verge of a revelation. "Mummy," he whispered, "there's a lady in my room." His words sent a chill down Amelia's spine. As the days turned into weeks, the strange occurrences became more frequent and more intense. The house seemed to be alive with unseen forces. Objects began to move on their own as if guided by unseen hands. Doors would creak open, and lights would flicker without warning. Desperate for answers, Amelia began researching the history of her home. She needed to understand what was happening to them. Her investigation led her to a chilling discovery. The house had a dark past that was hidden beneath its charming facade. The previous tenant, a young woman named Sarah, had died in the house under mysterious circumstances. Her death was shrouded in mystery and unanswered questions. Amelia began to suspect that the strange occurrences in her home were the work of a restless spirit. She felt a connection to Sarah's tragic story. One night, Amelia decided to confront the spirit head-on. She needed to find a way to bring peace to their home. "Sarah," she called out, "if you're here, please show yourself. I just want to help." Her voice trembled with a mix of fear and determination. A faint, ethereal glow emanated from the corner of the room, slowly taking the shape of a young woman. It was Sarah, her presence both haunting and beautiful. "Help me," the apparition whispered. Her voice was filled with sorrow and longing. Amelia spent weeks researching Sarah's life, piecing together the fragments of her past. She was determined to uncover the truth. She discovered that Sarah had been deeply in love with a man who had ultimately broken her heart. Their love story was filled with passion and tragedy. Amelia tracked down Sarah's former lover, now an elderly man, and convinced him to return to the cottage with her. She hoped that their reunion would bring closure. Together they set Sarah's spirit free. The house, once filled with eerie whispers and unsettling events, finally found peace. Amelia and Ethan could now truly start their new life, free from the shadows of the past. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed these stories, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more chilling tales. And remember, sometimes the scariest stories are the ones that are true. Until next time, stay safe and sleep well.